Okay, so the recording is starting now. I'm bringing up a client on board. He's also a student as well, and a user of our platform. Hi, good day. How you doing?
Hi, sir. Good
Very,
afternoon.
yeah, afternoon. How you doing?
Okay. And you?
I'm good. Okay. We had a chat earlier on WhatsApp, and I was quite fascinated with the way you were running your bots. I mean, it's practically the way I run mine as well. You had like lots of
Mm,
computers, and on these computers, you had a cake bot installed on every one of them. So what
mm,
what I would want you to help us do on this video, because there are a lot of students, I get a question all the time. I've not also had the luxury of time to show how to do it. So most people ask questions like, how come you have over 100,000, views? If you're having over 100,000 views, how did you do it? Did the bot just open the website, spent a second and left? Because that is against what I teach. I make emphasis on if the bot opens this website, you should spend lots of time on that site, at least up to a minute or more. You should have some engagement, so the impressions count. So if I'm going to be doing this with just my computer, it's not going to be possible. How many browsers can I run on my computer? What configuration should I use? So you having the conversation with me and telling me how you'd want to do this on lots of computers, I just felt someone else should say it and not me. So since you're on board, I would want you to give us a little tour.
okay. I'll just share my screen. No, trying to see which one would share now. Mm, So I'm trying to, because I still have it running, so I'll just stop it now.
Okay, you
And
already have the bot running.
yes, because I told you about how I'm trying to improve Google ranking and stuff. So it's got me thinking about what's the best way to do it. Is it going to be lots of? Please let me know when it comes through.
Yes, I can see now.
Okay, so I'll need to. mm,
Is
I'm
this
trying to
running
make
from a
sure that
computer or like a virtual
yes,
machine?
yes. No, I'm doing this locally.
Okay.
I'm doing it locally, so it's because I've not started earning. I'm just thinking, as an Igbo man now, you can't just be spending money, and so I'm just doing it locally since I have constant electricity and internet. Why
Okay.
do I need to pay for VPS since I've not started earning? So once
Okay.
Google approves it and my Google ranking improves, I mean, why not? I'll just go back to VPS.
Okay. But so far, do you have Google Analytics on your website? Are you able to see the like reflection of the traffic you
Yes.
drive?
Okay, so because it's a Shopify store, I would
Okay.
have to show my I think I had it open. I'll just share. Yeah. Yes, I'll share this now. Let me stop what I'm currently sharing and share something else just to show you because I only had this store on Tuesday here this week, and I've had over 2,000 visitors just from those few bots.
Wow. With your own computer, like you drove all the traffic with your computer, no VPS.
Yes, yes. Just a second. Has it come through?
Yes, it's being presented now. Whoa.
So this is just today alone. No, is this today?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's showing today compared with yesterday and something like that. Okay.
So let me just say no comparison and say for this month, last 30 days, apply.
Wow.
Actually, monthly.
Okay. You created the store like when?
I created this on Tuesday.
Tuesday of
And
this
you can
week.
see we've had a, yes, just say 5 days ago.
Hmm.
And had 2000, I don't know if you can see
Yes,
2268.
2,268.
Yes, over a few days. And let me say I've not used more than 30 to 40 devices, but because I have two proxies, one from the UK, one from the US. I paid
Okay.
for dedicated proxies for about 20 each, 20 IPs from UK, 20 IP from US. So just roughly around $70 for both, or $80 for both of
Wow.
them. And
What
it's
vendor
for a
did you
month.
what vendor did you buy from?
I'm using Oxylab.
Oxylab. Okay.
Yeah,
Let's
Oxylab.
let's I wish we could check like the analytics of the Oxylab because you would want to get monetized on AdSense. Is that correct?
Yeah, yes,
Okay, so if Oxylab,
that's
the IPs you're being given are bad, it would affect your
right.
monetization chances. So to check it, if you head over to OKBot
Okay.
and turn on a bot, I will show you a site that once you run the bot there, if it just comes in that this IP has been added to a blacklist, you just make sure you don't use the IP address again for anything that has to do with
Okay, so let
your
me
censorship.
share an entire screen so that maybe an entire window. This one. So you want me to go to
Scam
um
analytics.
oh, I think I saw when you had Scamalytics.
Yes, scam analytics, yes, correct. Yes, I had a Google Meet with
Yeah,
someone where I was
yeah,
saying
yeah,
there.
I watched that.
Now, these websites now practically checks the IP addresses. So now let's say for instance you have an IP address on your proxy chain or as you're adding. The moment you put that IP address, you get to see if it has been banned. And now this is the concept behind it. These proxy
Mm,
vendors, they don't really get to really give you these dedicated IPs like you're the one using it. All right. They make it sound
mm,
like they're really giving it to you like you're using it alone,
yeah.
but in reality, what really happens is when you pay for like a dedicated IP, just saying, okay, I want to be using this IP often. So instead of changing lots of IP addresses, giving me from different IPs and locations, I want just to be using this one.
Mm,
But now the trade-off
mm,
is if you said, oh, I want to be using this one, then they say, okay, take this one, no cap. You don't get to pay data for 10 gig, 5 gig, no data cap. Use it as how many gig terabyte as you want, data unlimited. But this is just going to be what you're going to be using. And then when you say yes, you cannot, then I get to give you that dedicated IP. But now the fact is, even if they give you that dedicated IP, now some other
yeah.
people still have access to it. You now
Mm,
get to see it. Yes, some other people still have access to it. Now, most companies are quite reasonable. They would bring out certain IPs and say, okay, this will be for dedicated IPs. And now they will give it to, certain number of people. Now, just very few number of people. And now, most other ones, they're very unethical. Even the IPs they say are dedicated are still part of what people use on rotating process. It's just that they just pick one of those rotating process and say, oh, get to use this all the time, don't pay for data. And now some other vendors as well. Now they also give dedicated for real, but then it costs a
mm,
lot more. Why?
mm,
That's because there's some reasons where we get to use dedicated process for real. So let's say for instance, right now, you're on your mobile network, like your phone, you hotspot it
yeah,
your phone. Now, however, if you're working
yeah.
in a big corporation, let's say you're working with Google, you're working with Amazon, you're working with a bank. Now, most of these platforms or
Mm,
most of these companies, they would want to do what we call a white list. That means this is their network, this is their API key, this is their system. You can't have access to it if you're not on that white list. That means even if you have the link, already you can't get
mm,
access to it except you're being, put on a list. Now, you as well using a mobile network, you could be having one IP address right now. The next thing Verizon is giving you something else. T-Mobile is switching it. I mean, your ISP on your mobile phone doesn't just give you one static IP; it rotates. So now this means that
yeah.
if you work with such corporation, it's really a headache, as you also have like an IP address they could whitelist, and they don't whitelist range. In ethical hacking, in security, network security, that's what we call network range. Network range is actually a concept where sorry, my phone is ringing. Yeah, network range is actually a concept where you could say I want from this IP to this IP, this range to this range. Maybe within the range is like 2,000 or 3,000 devices, but within this range, I want you to let them enter. So now, if now it's a company, which I doubt, every company that puts security as a priority doesn't what's it called again? Doesn't allow range. It has to be a static
mm.
IP. But then you got from Oxylab, right?
Yes, actually, I got from them, and I got ISP, and I got dedicated.
Okay,
Both
you
of
got
them,
ISP and dedicated.
yeah, the ISP is the US, the dedicated is the UK. So I think what I intend to do is probably renew the ISP and not renew the UK one, because I want to switch to ISPs. I
Okay,
don't know if it's
you wanna
better
go
off.
you wanna go more with ISPs.
Yeah, what do you think?
No,
I just really needed.
it's good. It's good. You know, this whole thing has, like, when people ask me what kind of IPs do I need to get, where do I get my IPs from? Most times I take a pause and I tell them,
Mm,
honestly, it depends on one, your
what you want
budget,
to do.
there's two, what you would want to achieve with it, right? And then three, what location are you talking about? So let's talk about your budget. Like we just gave an example, if you want a
Mm,
dedicated IP that doesn't get shared with you, why are you so particular about it not being shared? Practically because you're cautious, security cautious. If I have this
mm,
IP address shared with someone else, it's been whitelisted on Google, that means certain things that only people who are in a particular developers team or a security team or a particular sector of Google or whatever platform, only things the only people who could perform certain kind of actions are people who are on a whitelist. So if I'm using this IP address and I'm not the only person using it, this means if some other person somewhere in the world has access to this IP address, they could have some level of access to that system to perform certain things just because it was whitelisted on my behalf. Now, on such kind of occasions, I would not want to share that dedicated IP. Now, this is where I now go for the top tier, which is where I get to pay more. So now, when I get to
mm,
pay more, now what they usually do is they give what we call a micro mini saver. It's just like you're having a saver. It's just for you. The saver doesn't really have much, maybe a 1 gig or 2 gig saver. All that computer just does is just to serve your own request and you alone. But now it comes in
mm,
very expensive. And that is what people like me use. It's not actually because maybe I can afford it alone, but it's because I'm actually trying to mimic a good ISP. So I've gotten to that extent, right? Now, but if
yeah.
someone is coming in and the person is telling me, oh, I think dedicated IPs are better, I'll tell you, yes, that's true. But then I would also want to quickly step in, because if I don't step in immediately and you buy dedicated IPs from just anybody, now you're not buying something that maybe most people have used. But overall, in all my whole time of actually getting to like do this whole automation, dedicated IP,
Yeah.
no matter how, it's always the best. And this is why it's the best, because now most of the times it's not been overly abused. It's usually on the higher side. People don't like buying it. They rather buy those scattered ones that gives them thousands of IP. So I think you're still on the safe side. Then the ISP as well, there are a lot of ISPs. So I would try to make it like make more sense. We have ISPs from mobile devices. So for
Mm,
instance, right now you have a mobile device. Your internet comes in from an ISP, which is an internet service provider. Now this could be
yeah.
whatever cellular network you're using. Now we also have ISPs, which is ISP IPs from internet brokers, which is maybe here in
Mm,
Nigeria we have things like very SpectreNet, SMI. I think
mm.
I've forgotten the names they call them in the US and in the UK. But now these are CIS
Broadband.
broadband. I think that's the right word
Mm,
to use. And these are broadband household internet. Now they're also very good because they're ISPs. I mean, real people use them. Now we now have other ISPs, which are just ISPs that give to businesses, which is also very good, like an office, a complex,
mm,
right? And good. But now the fact is, the lower the ISP is to a user, is the more secured it becomes. And now, two, the nature of the ISP or the reputation of the ISP. So let me explain reputation for you. Each and every single one of these proxy vendors we use, a whole lot of them, they don't get to have like this whole IPs as like full custodian and ownership of them. So let me
mm,
make it make more sense. Most of them are more are more like brokers. If I send a request right now to Oxylab and tell Oxylab
mm,
that, oh, I love your services. I am right here in Nigeria. I happen to have over 2,000 routers, lots of SIM cards. I would want to set up all these modems, all these routers, all this broadband here in Nigeria, and I would want to partner with you all. So I'll provide the IP addresses of these my routers, so you can, add them to your Oxylab network so people can use
mm,
my routers, my modems, or my setup as proxy
yeah,
servers. Now Oxylab has a contract with me, and then I step in and I do the whole traffic. Now the problem is why I've reached out with Oxylab as well. I must have reached out with, let's say, Smart Proxy, and reached out with
yeah,
lots of people. Now, now this is really really a problem. Why? Because my resources are quite limited. Now, would I have a reputation after a while? No. Why? Because my resources are limited. Now, let me explain what I mean by limitation. For instance, a real cellular cell tower, let's assume a real cell tower from MTN, from Glo, from Airtel, they have thousands and millions of IP addresses. Now, these thousands of millions of IP addresses have what we call IP authority. It's more like on SEO marketing, websites have what we call domain authority. Some websites rank heavily. If they post something
mm,
about you, you come on front page. If they do something, anything they say, it's coming on front page of search engines because they have that domain authority. Now, an IP authority is being calculated based on the kind of requests that comes in from those ISP vendor. Let me explain. Now, this is MTN, for instance. MTN has lots of millions of devices. The people who use MTN, they make Google searches. In the past, they have analyzed that majority of the traffic that comes in from that access are not bot related. They're not fraudulent. They're not marked as scam. They're not marked as spam. They're marked as real traffic. Now, the vendor is MTN Nigeria. The vendor is Glow. Now we could now have like a new ISP that just got registered from you know telecommunication network, and already within their first few months of launching, because they don't have KYC, they don't have BVN, they don't have NIN, they just allow anybody to use that ISP. Criminals, scammers, spammers, people who want to do all kinds of things would feel more free to just buy one you know burner phone, one pay card, and pay as you go and pay on cash and use the traffic. Now, the majority of the traffic, what is it called again? The majority of the traffic request that comes in from that particular ISP is questionable. Now, lots of
mm,
automated requests, they don't pass catch bar. Sometimes when you use a VPN, you will see lots of requests has been coming in from this IP address. Please
yeah,
verify. Okay, you've seen something like that.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, too many requests has been coming in from your IP address. Why? Practically because VPNs don't even have all the savers. Just like what I explained right on Oxylab, VPNs actually partner with lots of independent bodies. So if you happen to be given an IP address that lots of other people have been abusing, whenever you make a Google search, Google tells you, you know what, people have been abusing this IP address. We're seeing tons of requests. And so in that light, it now means that IP addresses have different authority.
yeah,
Most people look at the face value of, when I run the bot, what location is it coming in from? But the location is just one. We talk about the location, we still talk about the ISP. So Oxylab, from my experience, I've used them in the past. They're quite very
mm,
good. But I think the only part of Oxylab that I know is good is just this ISP process. I think that's the only good section of Oxylab. Any other section of them that rotate, their rotating process will just get you banned. Like if you try it today and you go to bed,
mm.
by tomorrow morning, you're getting an email from Google that your account is gone. So if you're gonna be using ISPs, then I think it's perfect. Okay, so
Okay.
yeah, in that light, when you
Oh,
want to drive lots of traffic, how do you actually do it?
okay, so I hope my screen is still sharing. Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
it
I
is.
can see it.
So I've already created some bots already, and the most common of them all is is this one that's got 5 iPhones and 10 Androids. And I've signed in. I think the only issue I'm still having is around my Gmail. I signed in about 20 something Gmail accounts, but sometimes they don't still stick. I still need to keep signing in, but I stopped signing in for a while.
Wow. Okay. Were you
Mm,
using this particular executor or the free executor?
I was using the free.
Okay, the free executor doesn't really have much of a good bot state. So. Okay, no,
So I'll need to
no.
use.
What I mean is when you want to launch task that it suddenly act feels like it's logging you out. Do you launch those tasks with the red one because there's a red free executor, or do you use only the green executors?
I use only the green one, but when I was logging into these devices, as at then I'd not gotten the secondary pro, so I used
Okay,
them to log in, and I think since then I've not tried to.
try it
So,
again.
do you recommend I try it again with the secondary pro and log in?
Yes, yes. Okay.
Okay.
This is how you do it now in case you want to do it next time. If you want to turn a bot on and log in with it, you go to the manage bots. It's quite stressful
Mm,
anyway. And you go to that particular
mm,
bot family and you turn each of them on and log in
yeah,
one at a time. Now, however,
yeah,
there's another problem too. The problem is Google. If you watch one of my video, I logged into up to like 5 email. At the sixth one, I wasn't allowed to log in again.
yeah.
Now
Mm,
that's because they already saw the inflows of how fast you're logging in from one particular IP, address and from one particular computer. So what I would recommend you do, if you have like a free VPN, the previous versions of QuickBot don't work with a VPN. If you turn on a VPN, it just spoils the whole thing. But then this time around, I was able to make it coexist with a VPN. So you could have like OKBot turned on, log into like 3 emails, and then you switch on a VPN, choose another location, log into another email, and then you do it like that. So that's the only way you can log into all of them. And now the second thing I would recommend as well you do is after logging into them, you do what we call a warm up. Like I for a person, I have one task. The task is just to visit Google, and then after Google, it just makes a random Google search, then it goes to mail.com. So in the morning, the moment I wake up, I run all those what is it called again? Run all those tasks, which is warm up. It goes to Google,
mm,
make a Google search based on the niche I wanted to search on. It heads over to mail.google.com and click a random email and opens it because I mean that's what typically a human being does most of the time. They wake up in the morning on whenever they wake up and they try to check their mail to know if they've gotten a mail. So I just simulate that. So that way the session is always live. If I don't do that often, I could come back 3 days from now. They will just tell me, please verify you're the one that is here because I mean after you logged in, we never heard from you again.
mm.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. Then also still on this proxy. Sorry to take you back. I'm just considering going to use what's it called? Smart proxy.
Any reasons why?
Well, maybe because most of your videos have been on smart proxies, and I'm thinking of maybe the mobile or the ISPs.
The real fact is I don't even like smart browser that much. Oh. I feel for me for a
Mm,
person, I think I would even in a way root for Oxylab than Smart Prosy. And this is why since I would sincerely do that. Smart Prosy has been a bit um um on the news, right? I I I,
mm,
I I say this all the time. It looks like it's a bad thing, but I mean that's the reality. I say this all the time that I hate it when prosy companies get very famous when they start getting.
I'm popular. Yeah,
Yes, when they start getting popular, because the more people use
mm,
them, they don't go back to stock their process. They don't say, "Oh, I have four
they'll,
thousand IPs. Yeah, a lot of people are using us. Let's go add up like 10,000 more." Rather they're checking how
mm,
much they're making in sales, and now more
exactly.
people are abusing it. And then, if before it was working perfectly fine for a couple of tasks, now if nobody's doing anything around your task, you're free. That means if I head over to Smart Prosy and I buy process from Smart Prosy and I'm trying to do something on a different platform that has not been abused, I won't have issues. Now, but if it's a popular platform, which is Google AdSense is a popular platform, virtually everybody who buys process from Smart Prosy basically wants to load Google AdSense.
Mm,
And now, where the issue comes in is the same IP address Smart Prosy gave to you has also been given to like 60,000 What is
Other
60,000
people.
now? I'm talking about people as if it's people. We're talking
Million.
about browsers. That IP address has been
Mm,
given to you like 300,000 browsers could actually be popped up by different people. Like now, you could have six browsers open on your computer. Now, someone else could have 10 browsers open, and those 10 browsers are all using one IP address. Now, times that with the amount of everybody's on Google trying to click.
mm,
So yeah, that's where the issue comes in.
yeah.
But my own advice again, I think Oxylab would be nice. If we if we're to be doing this with smart proxy, it should be mobile, like you said. The mobile on smart
Mm,
proxy is good. The amount of ban has been tremendously low because I keep track of their analytics often. Now you could use smart proxy for now to get the monetization to get approved, but then moving forward, I would show you a unique source to get proxies. It's not even on the open web, it's on the dark web. On the dark web, I can't show I can't show I think I will make a video, maybe I'll make a video one of these days and show it. Um, if you have Tor browser installed, I would walk you through on the dark web where you get what we call backdoored proxies. So now these backdoor
okay.
proxies are like real human being, real devices, real mobile phones that has all these free Android app. Like some apps on Android will tell you tap tap tap, or they will tell you to just leave them there mining. But that's not
Mm,
real. What they're actually doing is to open a socket. So somebody who created the app will allow people like us pass through
mm,
them. Yeah, it's not well known to the open world. I mean, you have to be on the dark web to know how it works. So for normal people, they just feel, oh, this is a normal app that has. They just want you to always be active there. So while you're there, you're actually a tunnel for a network. And now, as of the moment, it is the best place to get process. But I think I'll show you that whenever we have like a private section. Since I'm already on record now, I'll have to make a rethink first before I decide if to start giving tours on the dark web on YouTube.
okay, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. So you were talking about Scamalytics. Is this where I just put the IP address and check?
Yes, that's where you put in the IP address and check. Why don't you check one of those IP addresses? Yeah.
So,
Whoa. You're good to go. I don't think you should change anything. Okay, this is green. No issues. What configuration is this? I mean,
so this is ISP.
okay, ISP. Yes, correct.
Yeah.
If that was smart
So,
proxy, I could bet like up to 60% it would have turned on yellow or red.
mm,
I
okay.
think if it's green, just keep using it. There might be no need to port, but make sure you check it often to know when it's been
Yeah, because
abused.
if you can see this, because sometimes I check it often, and because I know that
Oh,
this is from US, I still go to the back end to see the analytics of the first. You remember the first page I showed? I can filter locations of where this traffic is coming from. I know that I'm in the UK, and sometimes I check, so I can tell how many. But when I start to see things like China and France, it comes from that dedicated, not ISP.
oh,
You know, I have another account where I have dedicated. My dedicated here is inactive.
okay.
So like they said here, they regularly assess and change it and reassign. Even though I don't need to do anything, they may have changed it without me knowing, just to ensure that
Oh,
it's still fraud free and the risk is low. So I'll just do that for the dedicated because that's for ISP now, which I think should be all right.
yes.
So probably moving on to this one. Uh,
Okay. You only run your bot with executable parts, right?
yes.
Okay, that's
Is
very
there any
good.
other way?
No, 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 no. Ah, wait, hold on. You actually there's another way. If you don't put that in there, it still runs now. If you leave it at default, it works.
But it will come up as a test
No,
browser,
no, no, not the new
doesn't it?
one though. The new one has been
No.
extremely modified.
Okay, so let me do that and try it now that you're here. Let's say 1, 2, 3. So I usually leave it around 3 devices because it's a pool. This one just has around 15.
Mm,
So let's say I picked any of the other one that has like 20 something or 30 something. It's still a pool. So wherever it visits, it will look at it like a unique. It doesn't necessarily mean it's still going to be um 3 devices.
yes,
So when it turns off, it picks another one.
yes. How long have you been using the bots?
Just a few days ago, you just recently approved my API, so
Okay.
um, I've been on free all this while, but I've just been watching your videos.
Because the way you get to use it, okay, you've been watching the videos, okay, I see. You use it like a pro, so you already accumulated all the knowledge before now.
Yeah, let me just. So if I wanted to stay longer, I could keep it longer than this. You know, maybe just do this 4 times and repeat
Mm,
yourself. Maybe picking different. Yeah. So, and since I've not put anything in the browser, hopefully, like you
yes, it
said,
works.
I think check again. So I've only been having struggle because when I go to do click similar links after going through Google and all, it doesn't find my website because my website is not on page one.
Okay, your website
That's
is on
another
page
struggle.
two.
It's even, yeah, I'm not even sure it's on page two. It's a new website that I just created this week. So you go
Okay.
there that kind page 20. So that was why I was asking your customer service if you offer that service for SEO so that I can come up to page one.
Okay.
Mm. Now, see what I mean. You see, it's coming out as test.
No, it's not come out as test again, but let's watch it together. I know what you're talking about
Uh,
though. Chrome for testing. This is for automated purposes. Yeah, I upgraded that.
yeah. I know I'm sharing my screen, so you can't see it properly.
Okay,
But on the
you
tax
use
bar,
multiple monitors.
yes.
Okay,
So you won't
we're only
see it,
seeing
but
one
it's
screen.
there saying test.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
I have you on the other screen.
Okay, could you share to the other screen? So why the pop-up is still here, so I'll be able to just see how it's popping up.
Mm, no, what I mean is while I'm
Okay.
screen recording, you can't see the base of this screen you can see on the screen, can you?
I can only see a Google Chrome here. Did you present the entire screen or just this window?
I think it's just this window. So let me stop that
Okay.
and share the entire thing.
Okay, I can see them now.
Yeah, so it's still showing test.
Okay, open it, let me
Um,
see.
okay, so the thing is even on my other screen.
Okay. The test it shows would usually be something like a banner at the top before. Like when the browser pops up, it used to be at the top of the browser showing testing. But this time around now, are
Mm,
you referring to just the icon, the T on the Google
yeah, yeah,
Chrome?
yeah, yeah, just this bits is writing tests and they're all
Okay.
below. However, they are not on the top.
Yes, because I removed them from the top. I think I will change that logo. I just wanted it to be different from the
Mm,
normal Google Chrome, so I left it that way. But I think I will change it to a Cakebot logo. It's just like to be
mm,
confusing if everybody sees a green Cakebot, a blue Cakebot, and then all the browsers, so you don't accidentally close. But maybe I'll think about something. Maybe I'll give you different icon logo. But in a nutshell, this browser is safer than your own normal Google Chrome. The browser it comes
mm,
with, yes, the
okay.
browser it comes with. The only time you would need like an external browser is when you're streaming, because I noticed for whatever reasons, when you get
Mm,
to like stream, the packaged browser sometimes has a couple of issues. I might likely fix that on my next release. But if you're streaming on YouTube, if you're streaming on Instagram, TikTok, or Spotify, you could use your original Google Chrome. But if it's a normal website, logging into Gmail, doing normal task, the bundled
mm.
browser, that means leaving it at default is quite safer.
Okay. Um, I just want to also find out. So I leave this running because it's just on my local computer. I just
Okay.
leave this running and it keeps increasing the sessions and the traffic on the website. My only question is still around that YouTube. I also noticed that ads don't play on the YouTube, and I'm thinking, is it because of my proxy? Eh,
Yes, most of the time it's because of your proxy. To verify that, try launching it without a proxy. Use your default
mm,
location, and you'll likely see the ads
okay.
show up.
Which is why I was considering, in fact, to answer that your question, which is why I was considering going to smart proxy and probably use the rotating or mobile.
Oh, because those ones show ads.
Yeah, because this one is just the security is probably just so much that Google, you even see a prompt there saying that we cannot display ads because we're not sure about something, and then it just plays the video without ads. And I'm like, what's the point of streaming the videos when I'm not looking for views?
Okay, now this particular one, I'm glad we're having this Google meeting because I mean people would have to watch this to learn, and I mean it also serves like a what is it called again, a reference, because then I have lots of people who don't understand how this works, and they could come up and say, oh, was the bot detected, was the bot caught up with, why is it not showing ads, or maybe the trolls who always have something to say will say, oh, maybe the bot wasn't seeing ads because I mean it was caught. But the reality is those vendors, or most of those vendors of these IPs, they usually want to be ethical in the
Mm,
sense that we all know what we use proxies for. It's just like VPN. The VPN companies, they know lots of people who buy this VPN. They buy them so as to come from places they're not, which most of the time it's usually to facilitate something that might not be entirely ethical. So people want to
yeah.
be able to get into platforms that are only meant for the citizens of US or UK. I mean, that is why they have to
Mm,
use a proxy. Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime. There's certain movies that they only have license to show in the US. But here you are using a proxy to watch something. That's a violation of their policy. So these companies already
mm,
know. They know that I mean people use their proxies to violate their proxy and their IPs and all that, other vendors and all that. But they let it be. Now, however, some other IPs or some other proxy vendors, they are very ethical. So if they see any request coming in from Google Ads, Google AdSense, they already know that this advert might be coming in for someone in the US, but we know that whoever is using this process is not probably in the US. So they just block. It's like they have an ad blocker. You know, when you pay for some services, like some process that they even write it there. I think one of them, I've seen them on Foxy. They say one of the best reasons about using us is that we have ads blocker on our process. So that means if you connect your computer to them, you can watch any streaming
mm,
platform and you won't get a single ad. So to them, it's a marketing strategy. But to you now, you don't want that kind of rubbish because if they don't get to show ads, you don't get
yeah.
to earn. And so most of the
Mm.
time, it's usually from the proxy. So I'm just happy you asked that question. So people don't come in and say, oh, why am I not seeing ads? Sometimes it's from the IP vendor.
Well, that would make sense if do you think that would affect websites? Either ways, websites would they still see ads if I'm
Yeah,
using such proxies that put ads?
yes, it should. It should also
But it's
affect.
it's only
uh, it should,
mm,
but most of them could only affect streaming platforms. Now, this is why
streaming.
streaming platforms, they take it. This stuff we're doing on websites, we're learning. No, there is no amount of real. I wouldn't want to use the word. I wouldn't want to use a negative word. I would just say there is no amount of over unethicness, or in a way ethic on ethic. Let me say it in a way it doesn't sound like I'm doing something unethic. Now, when it comes to streaming platforms, this is where there is a real security. Streaming platforms, they don't go like right now. Google can go to fight these vendors, in the sense that you could have a website that has Google AdSense open and it will show. Google will never go sue the owner of this, what is it called again, of the IP or the ISP to say, oh, we got thousands of traffic here from you. There have never been a record where Google was suing a proxy vendor, right? But you see streaming platform,
Mm,
they are so mean. If somebody is using lots of proxies to fake streams on Spotify, most of these artists, they want to blow up by all means. They want to top the charts of on Apple Music. They
mm,
want to be the number one
yeah.
on Spotify. Good. So streaming platforms like that, now they're already heavy with their own security on their own. And now on their own, they are also looking for people who would want to come and be fooling them. If you are baiting anything, like if you are baiting means Netflix doesn't take it like the when you use a proxy. Sometimes you open Netflix, they tell you it seems you're coming in from a proxy server. Sorry, off your VPN. We cannot stream this movie to you except you're from the US. That means they've caught you with that your proxy. They know you're using a proxy right now. They won't let you stream that platform. But YouTube will never tell you, oh, you're coming in from a VPN. You can't watch this YouTube video. I don't know if you've seen the amount of
Yeah.
strictness when it comes to the streaming
11.
platform.
Mm,
Now you rarely see a website tell you, oh, you're coming in with a proxy server. So in a nutshell, if it's a streaming platform, I think the security is crazy. So the only configuration I think it's safe when it comes to streaming platform is the one on using mobile devices, which is
mm,
mobile ISP. Now, but the problem is it's very expensive. Why? Because they have what we call data mines. Now, because of how strict these streaming platforms are, their security is so good that they know when you're actually coming in from an Android and when you're coming in from an iPhone.
mm,
This is why
mm.
when you use smart proxy, you see something like Android or iPhone.
And, mm,
Yes, on the smart proxy. Now that's because they have what we
mm,
call a traffic rack. They take a mobile phone like this, they keep it on a rack. It's more like a shoe rack where you keep shoes. But you see lots of mobile
mm,
phones there, all connected to different routers. So when you send a traffic, your traffic doesn't just go to their server. It goes to a mobile device on that rack.
mm,
Yes, it's that device that makes the request for you. But now those services are usually very expensive because why they're harder to maintain. These batteries they change
mm,
their phone and they change the battery often and all
mm,
that. So if you're going to be doing streaming, it is always nicer to use those other ones. Now, if you use those other ones, you will earn, you won't get any deduction. Now, if you still get to use some other kind of proxy flavors like residential, it works perfectly fine. But now that is where that advanced scrutiny comes in. Because when you get to
mm.
these IPs, these companies, they're more like brokers. They're giving you an IP that has been given to them by someone else. It's just that they don't give you 100 IPs directly from this vendor. They take from this vendor, take from this vendor, take from this vendor, take from this vendor. So what someone like me does is when I buy bulk IPs, I sit down and I start analyzing them one after the other to know the ones that must have been banned. Because now I know I'm getting from different sources. That is how they sell their markets. You
Yeah.
don't only sell from one vendor. Then if everybody knows this other vendor is bad, they would have a way to say, oh, I don't want from this vendor. So they just give you a bit about everybody. So now, in a nutshell, if you can't stream YouTube videos, I think there are only two options. Now, the first option would be to change. No, it would be to first try it out on your own computer without a proxy.
Yeah.
Now, if it opens and streams the video, we know we're now looking at a case of okay, whenever I turn this proxy on, I don't get to see ads being displayed. Now, the next will
Mm,
now be okay, what kind of proxy do we use that will display ads? Now we fall into residential and mobile. Mobile is always capped. They don't give you mobile static IPs. Why? Because it's a cell tower. They can't give you a phone on that rack. If they should, it would cost a whole lot. So you're more on a
mm,
safer bet to just use any available device on that rack. But now, if that's the case as well, now the question will now boil into if you're buying this data, how much would you gain? That's where there's an advanced mathematics. Why is it advanced? Good. You're buying this ISP, which is mobile ISP, data capped. Data capped means they're telling you, oh, we're giving you 5 gig. How many minutes is your YouTube video? Sorry, if a
mm.
YouTube video has,
Really,
if it's very long, before you get 1,000 views, the data you bought is
the data
already,
is finished.
yes, it's maxed out. So what was the video quality like? Did you upload in 720p, in 4K, in 1080p?
Mm,
Because when you launch these things on a bot, especially on a server, those computers are usually fast. They have crazy network. They're using your IPs. Within few seconds, you could max out that 5 gig. And when you now
yeah.
convert it on YouTube, it's not giving you money. Why? Because your video quality was too high. Probably you didn't watch lots of videos. So if you want to do this on YouTube, that means you have to first make sure you do maybe within 720p or 480p, and then you now come up with the mathematics. You have to buy more. That means you have to buy the ISP more by in large quantity, because the more you buy, the cheaper you get. And then you have to now
Mm,
come in and calculate very, very well on your bot activities. Because if your bot activities are not properly engineered, then Google just knows you were trying to like load your channel. So you have to do it in a way that, oh, the bot has to watch out of it. So there are a lot of maths in it. But I would just prefer you stick
mm.
to to websites. Website feels like it's
Website.
it's a bit easier. The maths is less on a website.
Mm. Okay, okay. Yeah, I think that makes sense. I'm hoping that it gets approved. I don't know how long it will take, but yeah, part of the factors they consider are the traffic, right? And the genuinity of them.
Yes, and the backlinks too. The
Mm,
backlinks too. Although SEO tracking SEO services, the real truth about SEO services in recent times to help you get monetized is we have lots of agencies that sometimes don't live up to, I mean, demands. Like when you make a Google search, you want to get SEO certified. You're seeing lots of people come up
mm,
and say, "Oh, we're an agency that will get you on top of Google."
mm,
Within
mm.
a week. But then you patronize them, and it sometimes doesn't really look like what they say. You know, you've paid is that you've paid. You have to now start contenting with the back and front time. So I think the easier way to do it organically to actually get monetized is just to go to free social platforms and talk a bit about yourself. Now, these things are not even that difficult. If you, for instance, head over to Quora or Reddit and you just talk about the products you have, you don't need people to reply. People replying or not is not your business. All you want to do is let your website link have a link, a backlink coming in from Quora down to your site. You can head over to LinkedIn. Maybe you
Yeah.
have a page on LinkedIn. You create a page for your store. LinkedIn is a very high domain authority page, and then rank it back to your site. Now, if you can do all this and you use the bots, guarantee you in less than a month you should be approved for Google AdSense. But that backlinks are quite very necessary.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I think that makes sense. So when people click on the website, the link, it should be coming from another social media platform in volume,
Yes,
like you just said. Mm.
yes, but at the moment, do you have Google Analytics, the code of Google Analytics on your website?
Yes, I just put that in yesterday.
Okay, fine,
I-
fine. I-
yeah, I
If
just
you
put that in. What you mean is the code requiring you to before the review, right?
Yes,
The one you
there's it.
put at the header and
Yes, so you cannot track with Google. Okay, let me explain.
I think
On Google Analytics, there is one code that will just tell you to paste on your home page. Then, as visitors visit that page, you'll be able to see it and
mm,
track it on your Google Analytics. Have you been able to paste that?
I've pasted the code already on my
Oh,
website.
okay, fine. Then you should be approved in no time. That thing is very, very crucial. Google needs to be able to know your traffic capacity. I don't know if they started this on the plain public, like if it's part of what was written on AdSense, because it's been long I
Mm,
went through the requirements. Now it's just easy for me to do certain things I know of, and then I get it monetized.
mm,
But back then, I know part of that requirement was a visible traffic. So what other way of letting them know your traffic is visible, other than adding their Google Analytics to your page that will just easily just confirm that you're having traffic. So now you've added it. I would advise that you use so much bot family. So for instance, now the settings you're currently using was the settings you were using before we upgraded you. I think it was capped at 50 bots. You could only create a maximum of 50 bots. Yes, but now you can create more. Now, if you're using only few bots, like I can see
1 second, please.
5 iPhones. Okay,
Sorry, just 1 second. I need to get it done.
okay. Oh, whoa, the video is even up to 50 minutes long.
Sorry, I'm back.
Okay. hmm Okay, so scroll up a bit on your computer. No, the other side. Okay. I can see 5 iPhones, 10 Android. That's correct, right?
yes.
Okay. Now you need to create more. Now, why do you need to create
Mm,
more? You had a very big flaw here, but thank God we had this meeting. Now, this is where the flaw is. when you set it the way you set it, you could have thousands of views and impressions, but you're basically making tons. Making tons means the first iPhone goes to your website, spends some time, goes off, the second one goes off, the third one, then maybe the second one can come again, the first one can come again. It basically rotates
Mm,
all the iPhones, but it's rotating
mm,
them, but it's only rotating a couple of 5 devices. Now,
mm,
what you should do is to create as many devices as possible. That means if you could on each bot family, now especially now you're on Pro, on each bot family, try to have at least up to 25 bots on them.
okay.
Yes. So the
This
more
one has
okay,
50.
yes, perfect. 50 perfect.
So
If
I
configuration
have
like this is
I have a
perfect,
couple of others.
yes.
I have a couple of others. So I rotate it around them maybe 3 hours. In the next 3 hours, I switch to another family.
Okay,
You
now
know.
a quick one. Do you do it only on one tab, or do you know how to create multiple tabs to come in from multiple locations at the same time?
Yeah, I do that. I do that on like 2, 3 tabs on this browser, and probably move to Brave to do another one, or move
Oh,
to Opera to do another one.
okay.
You know.
Okay, okay, okay. Now I understand how you actually got that over 2,000 impressions
Mm,
and the rest. Okay, it was quite lovely. I think we had a very beautiful conversation. We talked a whole lot about
yeah.
process today, which I think lots of people would learn from. So thank you very much to coming up on the call. In regards to the ads not showing on YouTube, I would want you to try it at a later time using your local network, and then whatever the
Yeah.
feedback is, I would want a follow up as well.
No worries. Thanks very much.
Okay,
I would do that and get back to you. Thanks.
okay, thank you. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna be hopping on lots of calls today. So that was just the first call. Um, we're trying to get him monetized, or he's trying to get monetized on Google AdSense with Shopify. You can see the amount of traffic he drove using the OK bots. So I'm going to head over to my WhatsApp again and look for anybody who wants to hop on the Google Meet so we can hop on the Google Meet. If you're following up this series, the phone number is going to be on the comment pinned. You can reach out to the OKBot support. We'll have a Google Meet like this where you get to ask your questions around bot activities. We answer you and educate you just the way we did here, and you get to learn. The best part of OKBot is not just we creating tutorials to teach you how to use it. It's the fact you can also come online to have a proper one-on-one tour from me, the creator, the developer of the software, or from any of our customer supports. We're all here to teach you how to automate things and to do it rightly and ethically, unethically, ethic. And that is it for today. Thank you very much. This is an okay. This is the episode of getting at what do we call it? Getting AdSense approval with Shopify. Yeah, I'll now put in a colon and write to Kegbots. So this will just be the episode 1. I'm going to head back to work, but I'll come back to my Google Meets and we could likely have another episode today.